I am here today to defend a 150-year-old novel that does not need my defending. I just saw my university's theater department's rendition of the Little Women musical last night, and it reminded me that that's the best book ever. I love Little Women. I've read it 3 times. I wish I had it, because y'all know I love to hold up a book, but I left it at home. But yeah, I love Little Women, and I'd never seen the musical before, even though I love musicals, and it's okay. None of what I'm saying is hate on the people who performed it. Everyone did an amazing job. I had a lot of friends in the orchestra. They all sounded great. I had a couple of friends who played characters. They were all amazing. I cried my eyes out when, spoiler alert. Yeah, spoiler alert. I cried my eyes out when Beth died. It's not bad. But I do think it's a property that suffers from adaptation because taking out any of the little anecdotes makes it worse. Not because any of those anecdotes are especially important, but because the whole sum of them is. And so you lose a ton of these little character beats and all these things, which I totally understand. It's a musical. And I didn't feel like the songs got deep enough into the characters to make up for that, because that's where songs come in. This is a different kind of genre, but the Percy Jackson musical is pretty darn good, and the reason it is because the songs are written by someone who really understands the source material. And so even though you don't hear every single thing that happens in those books, you still understand every character really well because all of their lore is put into those songs. And again, The Lightning Thief is a 300-page YA novel, and Little Women's 500 pages, so I totally get it. But yeah, it just got me thinking about how amazing that book is. It's one of very few classic novels written by a woman about a woman. And it's got 6 main female characters, which is so unique, and they're all different. Little Women passes the Bechdels has so much better than any other book ever, really. It's pretty incredible. It's very progressive for the time it was written in. I adore Jo. I adore Beth. I think I am a combination of the two of them. So watching Jo watch Beth die is really affecting for me. I can't talk about it too much or I will start crying. All this preface out of the way just to say I love the source material. This is not going to be a critical look at this. This is just going to be me ranting, kind of unscripted, because I've been hella busy recently and I miss just chatting, so that's what we're gonna do. So the funny thing about this production is, before I even went and saw it, the guy who played Laurie has the same vocal professor as me, because I'm a music major. And I'm just gonna call him Laurie for the sake of convenience. So our voice teacher said when we were all meeting, she's like, by the way, go see Laurie in Little Women. He's playing the lead and he's so good. And he's like, oh, I'm not the lead. And she's like, no, you pretty much are. What? It blew my mind, because I was like, Laurie is important. He's the most important male character, but he's not even in the top 5 most important characters in general. There are so many more important people. And I hadn't even seen the musical at that point, but then when I went and saw it, he's even less of a main character in the musical than he is in the book. He's in 3 scenes, genuinely. It was so crazy to me. It's imagine if someone said that Fiyero was the main character of Wicked. Yes, he's important, but what? What are we looking at? What? Maybe it shouldn't have bothered me as much as it did. It's been weighing on my mind so heavily because how are you looking at a story called Little Women and going, let's give that white male tenor some more attention? What? What are we doing? Oh my god. I don't know. I just think that book is so well thought out in that every single character in it is distinct, which is a problem that I find a lot of books run into, even the ones that are regarded as great literature. That's another reason why one of my other favorite books with a female main character written by a woman is Gone with the Wind. And that's another one where pretty much every character is super different. You do not get them mixed up, which is very impressive, and it's important in these big books, because Little Women takes place over 10, 15 years. Maybe that's a little much, but 10-ish years. So having all the characters be really distinct and all of them having a character arc is amazing. I also want to touch on Amy, because I know she's the most controversial part of those books, which makes me annoyed because I think it's hard for people today to imagine the feeling of never having something that is just yours. I think never having anything for yourself can be exhausting at times, and I think that's where all of her shame comes from, is because she's ashamed of being the youngest and being stifled and all that stuff. And I think it's pretty incredible that she is like a minor antagonist at first, but you never doubt the love between all the sisters. She doesn't have to like repent, you know? I sound like Mary Oliver. She doesn't have to repent. She just keeps living her life and becomes better over time. I also love her and Lori, which I know is controversial. People who think that Lori and Joe should have ended up together are wrong. It makes the most sense for the two of them to be together. That was another thing I didn't love about the musical is you don't see any of Amy's trip abroad because of the time limit, and so they just come home and they're getting engaged. And so it's shocking because you're like, these two have never spoken before, why are they getting engaged? But in the book, it's actually pretty incredible. Amy chews Lori out for sulking over Joe. She's literally like, get yourself together or I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And he does. And then they kind of organically get together and it's great. It's not this random pairing, like they really do make sense together. I also want to touch on the 2019 Little Women adaptation by Greta Gerwig, which I actually haven't seen, but I have seen the important scenes from it. I know how it ends. I like that it ends that way. If you don't know, the book ends with Joe getting married to a German professor, and it's fine, but I think a lot of people have speculated that she probably didn't want Joe to end up with anybody, but that was just so unheard of at the time. And so the 2019 book makes the choice to have her not end up with anyone. I think that's the right adaptational choice. Joe never wanted that. But on that point, I want to talk about the two probably most famous bits from that adaptation. One being the I've loved you ever since I've known you, Joe, which, God, if I haven't had that conversation before. Oh my Lord. So relatable. I watch that every time I have to like reject a guy. I watch that and I feel so bad. It's tough. But I think it's a beautiful scene in that you never doubt the characters' love for each other. Another thing I didn't love about the musical, TBH, it was a little bit too mean. She didn't really give reasons in the way I wanted her to, but whatever. And then I also really want to touch on the scene that really breaks my heart because I relate to it so much, is the one where she is complaining about how I hate that love is all a woman's fit for. I hate it, but I'm also so lonely, which is so, yeah, like that's so true. I relate to that so much because I'm someone who is very comfortable being alone, but gosh, sometimes it's hard. And I hate that that's where everyone thinks I'll inevitably end up, is in a relationship, but also like, isn't that what I want a little bit? I don't know, it's tough. Anyways, I think it's a really smart adaptation. I didn't watch it just because the casting bothered me. Like, none of them looked like the right ages to me, really, except for Joe. And I also watched Bakara Tours' video on the costuming, which wasn't great, which is a shame because it's a really good story-wise, and I like the script. So maybe I'll watch it eventually. Anyway, Little Women is the best. You should read it. I know I kind of spoiled it, but it's not really a spoiler. It's not that kind of book, you know? It's really a journey beats the destination. You really grow to fall in love with these girls and feel like you're part of their family. And sibling dynamics will just always get me. I've always wanted to be close with my siblings, and I'm not. And so I'm always so obsessed with stories about sisters and everything. And it just makes me cry and cry and cry and cry. So yeah, I will be back soon. I swear, it has been so busy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm taking that many hours this semester, but for some reason the workload has just been insane. And that's not helped by the fact that for basically the first time in my life, I have like an actual nice, good friend group that likes me and wants to hang out with me all the time, which is great, but it takes away time for me to look into my camera and say words. So I will be back soon, and thank you for being here.